Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is The Handmaid's Tale Season 2. So June had just led the other handmaids in an act of defiance, refusing to stone Janine. If that sentence made you go, what? Go watch my Season 1 recap. For their act of defiance, all the handmaids are rounded up, and they're gonna be hung. Oh man, short season, I guess. Oh, just kidding though, it was just to freak them out. Aunt Lydia's like, hey, we don't want to kill you because we need you guys to get pregnant, but we can make your life even more miserable than it has been. She gets word though that June is pregnant. It's like, congrats, dearie, eat your soup. June's like, screw you, I hate soup. But Aunt Lydia's like, well, okay, if you want to be that way, we can just chain you to a bed for the next 9 months. On second thought, I love soup. Give me all the soup you got. Non-pregnant handmaids are not so lucky though. They get burned to remind them to be obedient. So June's brought to the doctor for a checkup, but one of the nurses is like, hey, I'm with the resistance. Here's a key, go escape. Nick is behind her escape plan. He pulled all the strings he could because, you know, they're in love and it's his kid. This guy's gonna take her to a plane to Canada, but it's not safe yet, so he takes her to his apartment where he has a kid. Yeah, apparently not all fertile women were rounded up to be handmaids. If you're a regular peasant who follows the rules, you're allowed to stay as a family. They have to go out to church, which is the only thing you're allowed to do for fun. But they're gone a long time, so June gets out of there, makes it to the Canada plane. She's gonna escape, but no, they catch her just in time. She goes back to the Waterfords, and the guy that helped her is hung. No one knows Nick was behind it. In fact, he's rewarded for his loyal service by being given a wife. Her name's Eden, and she is literally 15. She's just a real sweet, pious girl, and she's like, hey, God needs us to have sex. Nick's like, yeah, maybe in about 3 years, but she's worried maybe Nick's a gender traitor. So June's like, dude, you gotta have sex with this teenager. Now, Commander Waterford's big project has been the new Red Center for the training of handmaids. It's a great success until one of the handmaids has a bomb. Oh, get him! Boom, blows that place up. Commander Waterford survives. He'll be out of commission for a bit. Who died, though, was the guy running things last season, Commander Price, so this new guy, Commander Cushing, is in charge. And he is on a rampage to root out all resistance. He questions June about her escape and thinks maybe Commander Waterford was behind it. So June's like, yo, Serena, we gotta do something about this guy or we're all being strung up. So Mrs. Waterford forges her husband's signature and with the help of Nick, fabricates evidence that gets this guy put away. Meanwhile, over in the colonies, it's somewhere in America that's apparently been nuked. Irredeemable women are sent here to shovel dirt until they die of exhaustion or radiation. June's first handmaid friend Emily is here. Fertile or not, after her last escape attempt, they decided she was too much work to keep as a handmaid. She used to be a science professor. When things started going bad, they fired her for being a lesbian. She was gonna fight back, but then they started hanging gay people, so she's like, yeah, time to move to Canada. Luckily, her wife was a Canadian citizen. Unfortunately, gay marriage was delegalized, and she had to send her wife and son ahead while she stayed back and was eventually made a handmaid. In the bombing, a lot of handmaids died too, so now there's a shortage. She's brought back from the colonies, and congrats, you're a sex slave again. Now, Mrs. Waterford wants to keep running things for her husband while he's in the hospital, and she gets June to help her because she used to be an editor. This is very illegal. Women are not allowed to read or write, but Mrs. Waterford's happier than she's been in years. She was a strong voice in the Gilead movement at the beginning, but when it became more about oppressing women, the men were like, hey, thanks for the help, we got this from here. Before long, the commander's back, and Mrs. Waterford finds herself shut out again. The handmaid Janine gave birth to a daughter last season, but she's not doing so well. The best baby doctor around is a woman, so Serena forges her husband's signature again to let her come check her out. Turns out all the baby needed was some love from its real mother. But when the commander finds out his wife's been forging his signature all over town, he's like, sorry wife, I gotta get the belt, and beats her. What? Serena starts to realize this whole Gilead thing might have been a huge mistake. Shortly after this, Commander Waterford's been selected as the trade envoy to Canada. Mrs. Waterford has to go too to tell everyone how wonderful being a woman in Gilead is. She meets a guy apparently working for the real American government. They still have Alaska and Hawaii. He's like, hey, if you want to defect, I can get you on a plane to Hawaii right now. After the belting, she seriously thinks about it, but decides to say, no, I love Gilead. Also in Canada is June's best friend Moira, who escaped there last season. She tells June's husband Luke, hey, that's the guy that rapes your wife. So Luke goes over there and confronts him, and after, Nick tracks him down and it's like, hey man, I'm a friend of June's. She's doing okay. relatively. Here, take this stack of letters from the women of Gilead that June managed to sneak out of Jezebel's last season. They detail all the horrible stuff going on in Gilead that the world doesn't really know about. Moira's like, yo, we gotta post this on Twitter. So boom, those cause a huge public outrage. And the next day, trade talks are canceled. Canada's like, yo, your country's evil and you're a piece of shit. Later, as some sort of power move, the commander has June taken up to a house where her daughter Hannah is. Oh, they're reunited. June is so happy. At least for a minute till she's taken away again. But they stick around the house a little too long, so more guards show up. Even though this was Commander Waterford's idea, it was very much off the record. So they think Nick's up to no good and take him away. June's like, there's no one around for miles. Time to go to Canada. But oh, what's this? Oh, the baby's coming right now. Oh, labor scene? Bam! Gives birth to a beautiful baby girl. There's no hiking to Canada with a newborn though, so June's brought back in, and Mrs. Waterford is thrilled to finally have a baby. Nick's child wife Eden is so unhappy though, because he clearly doesn't love her. She gets a huge crush on this new guard, and they run away together for 5 minutes till they're caught, and the punishment is drowning in the public pool. Even Serena's disturbed by this, and June's like, hey, do you really want to raise a daughter in this society? So Mrs. Waterford goes to the Council of Men, and she brings all their wives, and it's like, hey, look, we think we should be able to read, at least like the Bible. And to make her point, she starts reading the Bible then and there. She's like, hey, honey, what do you think? Will the council go for it? He's like, yeah, nah. She's taken away, and the punishment for reading is losing a finger. She and June have had a lot of hate between them, but in the face of this, girls gotta stick together. Another woman in the house is the cook/servant Martha. In fact, they're all named Martha. And over the 2 seasons, she and June have sort of bonded. One day there's a fire down the street, and Martha grabs June. Hey, this is a distraction. We're getting you out of here. Commander Waterford realizes something's up. He's like, hey, Nick, let's go grab my handmaid. But Nick stops him. He's like, I don't think so. You're staying right here. Mrs. Waterford does catch June escaping, but June's like, hey, Serena, look, I'm taking this baby to Canada. You know it's for the best. And Serena agrees to let her go, giving up the one thing that still brought joy into her life. So all the neighborhood Marthas work together to sneak June out, passing from one to the other until eventually she's decently far out of town. Meanwhile, Emily was assigned to a new commander. He's some sort of economics professor type. She grabs a knife. She's like, I'm cutting off the next dick that comes near me. But this commander's like, oh no, things are chill here. I'm not gonna have sex with you. So Emily's like, cool, then I'll use this knife to stab Aunt Lydia. Oh, take that. She was awful. This commander takes her out, maybe to kill her, but instead takes her to where June's hiding. He's helping them escape. Yeah, this one's actually a good guy. So Emily and June are getting out of there, but June's like, hey, take care of my baby in Canada. I'm actually going to stay behind. What? Why would she do that? One reason is her first daughter Hannah is still in Gilead. I guess she doesn't want to leave her here alone. She thinks the best thing for her to do is stay in Gilead and lead a resistance. Also, if she escapes to Canada, the show would be over and we're getting ready for season 3.